do the thing and make me do the countdown, we'll get started.
I'm not hearing Harley talk.
Neither am I. We had that problem before.
Harley, your vocal is not coming through.
Da, da, da. Da, da. Da, da.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
we're ready to start.
I hit the live stream button when you had asked, but you didn't hear me. So we should be good to go now.
Do you want me to count my 10 seconds down and start it?
You shouldn't need to at this point. It's passed.
Okay. All right, then, folks, I will open the Painesville Township Zoning Commission meeting for March 8th, 2021. Welcome, everybody. And let's say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag, United States of
the
America,
United States of America, and to the republic
for which it
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with justice and liberty.
and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Rachel, roll call, please.
Okay. Sorry. Amy?
Here.
Okay. Bailey?
Here.
John?
Here.
Daryl?
Here.
And Chairman?
Here. Okay. Rachel or Richard, did we receive any comments or questions from the public?
I have not received anything, no.
I have also not received anything.
Okay, I talked to Harley earlier, and she said no also. So we have no commentary or questions from the public. I shall now call the regular meeting to order. And the next on the line is the minutes from the February 8th, 2021 meeting. Rachel has gladly sent us out in the email and also sent it via the United States Postal Service. So anybody have any corrections on the minutes that were handed out to them or sent to them? I'm hearing no comment from the commission, so I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as read.
I'll second.
John made a motion to approve. Daryl seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Okay. John?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
Okay. Bailey, looks like Bailey got kicked off or left. So I'll just go to, okay, Chairman?
Yes. Okay, it's past 4-0. When it comes on, it'll be 5. We'll see. All right. Bailey, you there?
Okay.
Not yet. Okay. I will open up the public hearing now for case 21 ZC01, a text amendment initiated by the Zoning Commission in regards to subsection 613 and line of sight visibility, and also to add 614 subsection C7, and to add 6.14H, and add figure 6.3, and add a definition for line of sight safety 5.95, and figure 5.1, and add definition for a vehicular entry gate, and renumber the remaining definitions accordingly. And the vehicle entry gate came from the fire chief. We did receive some information from the planning commission, which I think that was sent to all the members. So staff, if you want to make any comments? And then from there, we'll go to the zoning commission members. Richard, you're on, bud.
I'm on. Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, you are.
So listen. Um, I reviewed what the planning commission sent. I'm kind of like in agreement that maybe we should consider their recommendations for two different definitions. Um,
Mhm.
for well, that part of their recommendations. I'm not quite so sure that I understood their concerns about conflict with subdivision regulations. My understanding is we don't have control over subdivision regulations. However, when our fire department requests that we exercise our zoning authority to provide certain setbacks and dimensions for an entry gate, that kind of, to me, follows right along with the planning commission recommendation that we consult our fire department. I tried to make them understand that the basic reason for this whole part of the amendments came from the fire department. But they didn't seem to get that in time. So I think we should take their recommendations and give them a lot of consideration and thought. I'm not so sure that I'm not sure what to make of their recommendation concerning the setbacks and the conflict with the subdivision regulations. And they still, after they said that, they still recommended that we consult our fire department, which kind of seems to me like our fire department can trump the subdivision regulations. Does Daryl, do you have any insight on that?
Other than the fact that they asked for the fire chief's recommendation in subdivisions anyways, I don't know what the problem is. That kind of caught me out off guard too, because you got to be able to get a fire truck into the area. That's just the long and the short of it. And I don't think they understood what was being done there. And I think they have to look at that relationship and maybe change or enforce some things through the subdivision regulations. At this point, they've changed them so much, they're not anything like when I was there. So I would say that I'm not amiss to having it in our zoning and then letting the planning commission know that this is necessary for fire access. And we can do it, from the zoning commission, we can do it from fire department. It doesn't matter. But as long as we've got it in our regulations, we've got something to work with. If we don't, then it's up to someone else to make a decision. And I thought that's what's our job, to make decisions.
Okay.
Well, yes, it is the zoning commission's job to make decisions and recommendations to the trustees on what rules we want to put into effect. We are obligated to take into consideration recommendations from the planning commission, but I think we've been presented by a recommendation that is not totally clear.
Yeah.
As to the relationship between any zoning change we would make along these lines in relative to potential conflicts with subdivision regulations. So I am thinking before we go any further with this, that we request a clarification
I don't
from
have a
the
problem with that.
Planning Commission on this particular recommendation regarding subdivision regulations for entryways into like private roadways, gated communities, and so forth.
Yeah, because
So that's my thought.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I understand you can't
Um,
prescribe roadway, just right of way sizes, things of that nature. You can't get into the construction of the roadway, but you're talking about something that stands above the roadway and that is a fixture, which, like a sign or anything else, that comes under the township's jurisdiction. And they're putting up a structure in the road right of way, which can cause a problem for the fire department in entering and leaving a subdivision. I think something has to be said. Now, the fire chief will get his opportunity because that was set up when I was still working there. And we took that into account. And I'll tell you that the fire chief's recommendations are carried very heavily in the things that we look at. If they're still doing the same thing they did when I was there. I don't understand their comment, what the problem is. I think they need, like you said, they need to clarify it.
I think part of their problem is we sought to impose a potentially wider lane for a private road in a subdivision than what they would normally require. I think, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm a little bit puzzled by exactly what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and I don't feel confident making or recommending anything to the zoning commission on this without understanding where the planning commission is coming from.
okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm so sorry to interrupt. We had a comment on our live stream. And the live stream is a resident who lives on Morel Avenue, is stating that they see a lot of children playing on the street, that there are many FedEx, Amazon, and UPS trucks that are driving fast up and down the street, and that they feel Painesville Township should put a sign alerting people that children are playing drive slow. I informed the resident via the comments that I would forward their concern to the township administrator and the trustees, and they just requested that I mention it on video so that her husband could hear the statement. So
I
Okay.
understand their feeling.
and that is the only comment that I have.
Yeah.
All right.
They just added, I'm waiting for someone to turn in. Oh, they just added a comment that they're waiting for someone to turn into a cat. And I just got it. I just got the reference. I apologize.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment or about on this case?
Is that a Dr. Seuss thing?
No.
Oh my God, Rick,
Oh,
come
I'm
on.
so sorry. And there
I'm not
was a
even gonna go
lawyer.
there.
There was a lawyer who was Zoom meeting on a professional meeting and accidentally used one of the filters to turn his face into a cat. And he was telling the judge, "I'm not a cat."
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Wow.
Oh, sorry.
This meeting now. This meeting. Hey, thanks, Harley, very much. This meeting's gone to
I apologize.
yes. Don't worry about it. Okay. Anybody else have any comment about this case? I'm going to go last with my comments. If no one has any case, I'll throw my nickel in right now, or my 2 cents. My comment on this is that the fire chief's request of this vehicular entry gate width is based upon his equipment that he uses. But I think what I'd like to do, Richard, if it's fine, is get the fire chief to maybe help you explain to the planning commission why he wants this entry gate definition be as wide as it is, and then maybe they can give us some clarification on why they, because maybe they don't know that the reason why the fire chief did it, not because on a whim, but because of a piece of equipment that he has. Understand? Maybe we could give that back to the planning commission and then come back with us with clarification. And I do agree with you and Daryl that we should maybe wait for we get a clarification from the planning commission after we clarify to them why we put that definition in.
One of the things, Ted, that I want to just happen to think of, you don't have to mess around with road width. It's not the road width that's in question. It's in question with the structures that they put in to hold the gates and how wide that is, so that the truck can get in there without destroying them and destroying the truck. And that's a different situation than road right of way and pavement width.
I know that, but my point is that he made a comment of why he wanted the structure to be X amount of feet wide. Yeah. Okay, Daryl?
Yeah.
I think that's what I want to clarify to this plan commission.
Oh, I don't disagree with it.
Why we're doing what we're doing, and get that clarified back to us. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I do agree that we have control of the they have control of the road width and the road right of way, but what we control is inside, the road right of way and the road itself. So I'd like to get some clarification both sides. I think you and Richard is correct, and we need to get some clarification before we can make a recommendation to the trustees on this issue. Also, Richard, on the line of sight visibility, that their line of sight visibility, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed a lot bigger than what we proposed to the trustees, and that came back to.
Well, when you say propose to the trustees,
we proposed 20 feet. They came back at 30
the previous discussion of line of sight safety triangle was rejected by the trustees, and that was a 30-foot.
We went 30.
A 30-foot base and altitude for a right triangle.
Right.
This one reduces it to 20 feet, which my belief is the trustees felt much more comfortable with a 20-foot line of sight safety triangle than a 30-foot.
Yes, I go ahead.
Yeah. So, anyhow, I take seriously, though, the Planning Commission's recommendation to ask us or suggest to us that we double up on the definitions and separate the instances where that a triangle can be applied.
I agree with that.
And I follow their logic, so I'm kind of thinking we need to, maybe with timing of everything being different, if Harley had been here last week and not on vacation, she may have had time to respond to this, but under the circumstances, it would have been impossible. And so it was asking too much to have something really prepared for this meeting. I didn't want to go ahead and propose something because Harley had put a lot of work into putting this together. And I wanted to be able to be sure to consult with her and from the two of us operating as staff, come back to you with some reaction and appropriate response to the Planning Commission recommendation. At the same time, I think it's important to go back to the Planning Commission and say, we're a little bit confused on how you worded your response to the fire department's request for truck clearance width on premises of a subdivision, and which is a structure. The gate is a structure which will be built on the subdivision premises. So we should have zoning authority for that. So we can regulate how wide that opening is and what the distance from the dedicated road right of way is to allow for that fire truck to be totally off of the roadway, the dedicated roadway, when they are in the process of opening that gate. So I think we really need to postpone any further action on this particular thing until we reconnect with our fire chief and get him to put down on paper what his rationale is, forward that to the Planning Commission, explain the way we're looking at things, and ask for their responsive viewpoint. And at the same time, we need to potentially craft, as long as Harley's on board with this, potentially craft a response to their recommendation to double up on the definitions and the application for the driveway, the line of sight safety triangle being applied in different situations. I hope I
Okay.
make that clear, but it
Yeah,
gets
no,
a little confusing sometimes.
yeah, okay, no problem. I think what we have a decision to make. We can either table it and to get more clarification, or we can close the public hearing. And I think what we're looking at right now, from my standpoint, is that we got more questions than answers, and we need a little bit more clarification. So I'm thinking that maybe what we should do at this point in time on this case is table it, keep the public hearing open until we get some more information, and we just continue this public hearing to next meeting, which would be in April. So Jason, do we need a motion to continue it, or can I do that on my own? I think we need a motion, don't we?
I think, Jason.
Yeah.
If you need a motion,
we'll do a
I'll
motion.
make it. This is Daryl.
Okay,
if you need a motion, I will make it as such.
Okay. All right, then, Jason, we need a motion, right, to continue?
Correct.
Okay. Then Daryl made a motion to continue case 21ZC01. I need a second on that.
This is Amy.
Okay,
I'll second.
I got Daryl made the motion to continue, and Amy seconded it. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Rachel, roll call, please.
Okay, Daryl,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes. Sorry, I got disconnected shortly there.
John,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay, we're going to continue the case until we get some more clarification, and we'll work on that for the April 8th meeting. Okay. Site plan architecture reviews, we have none. We have no new business. We're back on the old business, which is case, I'll just go with section 28 rewrite. So, Mr. Richard, you're on, bud. You're on,
Oh
sir.
boy. Okay, guys. If you recall at the last meeting, um, uh, legal legal counsel advised that they would have some recommendations to make, and would review the latest draft, which I believe we called draft 6 of section 28. And I received a list of what I took to be 21 suggestions or questions raised by legal counsel. And I responded to the 21, and we have 4 issues still unresolved by my count. Does that sound right, Jason?
Yeah, I don't have the documents in front of me, but that sounds about right.
Yeah. And on one hand, I feel good because with signs and these regulations and what we're trying to accomplish, which is to have a set of regulations that really is strong, represents what the township really wants in the way of signage, and is
Mhm.
really pretty well impervious to attack under the First Amendment rights, of people. So we still have 4, I believe, concerns raised by legal counsel, which I have not worked out an answer to quite yet. So I'm going to ask that we once again continue or table any further action on this case until I and our legal representatives have a chance to see if we can get on the same page with these last 4 issues.
Okay. Then I think what we'll do is we will table case 20 ZC07. I don't think we need Jason. Do we need a motion on that? I don't think we do. Or am I wrong?
No, I wouldn't say so because it's old business. It was never really brought to the table to begin with, so we'll just table it and take it up next meeting.
Yeah, we're just waiting for some more. We're waiting for draft number 7. Basically, what we're looking at.
Yeah, I haven't seen 7 yet. I got 4, so I'm behind 2.
We may wind up with 10 or 12 drafts. I don't know.
I'm not worried about that. That's okay. So what we'll do, if nobody has an objection, we'll just table the old case for the section 28 total rewrite sign section till next meeting, and until we're satisfied with it, and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay, and then we have no closed public. We didn't close any public hearings, and no items being held for public hearing. So I'm on Richard. I'm at your zoning inspector's report.
Guys, you know what? We're going to have some stuff coming up. We've had a number of inquiries. There are some things going on. We're probably going to have some architectural reviews, site plan review or 2. This will be at least a moderately busy year. It could turn out to be much busier than that, but we've got a lot of inquiries being made right now, and as time goes on, a lot of inquiries and a lot of thought patterns by people making the inquiries tend to be things that are a little bit outside of our normal realm or a little bit outside of our current regulations. So it's like all the inquiries that I've been getting have complications attached. Um,
Okay.
we'll just deal with them as they come up, and hopefully between Harley and I, we can steer people to trying to comply with regulations, but we'll see. It's like not everybody is going to be willing to do that.
Well, Richard, is like this. If they're not willing to do it, they come to our board, and they are still not willing to do it. I mean, the board has the right to reject it, and so they can until they want to comply with our regulations. If they don't want to comply, then we don't have to approve their site plan. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just one of those things where, like you said, we'll just take it one case at a time, and if they want to try to convince us that they're right and our regulations are wrong, that's their right to try, but we have the right to uphold our regulations. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that goes in the future. Anything else, Richard?
That is true. The biggest challenge is going to be to our architectural guidelines.
And Section 39.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that the words Western Reserve architecture and the historical architecture of this region are important to Painesville Township. They don't seem to understand that. And we didn't overemphasize it, by the way, in Section 39, but it is clearly there. Everything else in Section 39 falls from that statement. So that's all I can say.
Well, yeah. The other thing is the fact is that they should look at what we have done since Section 39 has been approved by the trustees, and look at what we have approved from the time that Section 39 was approved to the present time. I think we're generous in our. I would like to put it very generous in our way of working with them to get what we consider a Western Reserve look. I think we're very reasonable, and if somebody just flat out says no, that will take our reasonableness out. So I mean we have. I think about the marathon station out there near at Painesville on the east side of Painesville Township on Route 20. I mean, they came in and they didn't understand what we want for the Western Reserve look, but they worked with us. We told them what we wanted more or less, and the building looks really fantastic right now. So, to me, I think that. If they don't want to even be semi-reasonable, that's on them, not on us. You know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Anything else, Richard?
That's it.
I'm sorry.
Okay. That's all from me. Maybe Harley has something?
Harley, anything at all?
No, I don't have anything additional, excuse me, other than wondering where did you end up in the discussion with returning to Township Hall? Right.
I was going to do that. I was going to do that next meeting, next point.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good enough. All right. I got it. Okay, folks. Any further business to come before the commission? I have one item, but if somebody else has other items, I'll let them go. They go first. Okay, hearing none. Richard sent out an email about a week and a half ago to Tom Hill and myself. Tom is the chairman of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and about turning to in person. Tom and I were talking, with Richard through emails, and I'm wondering what the commission members think about. It'll be another month when people get vaccinated. I should be totally vaccinated by then. I'm starting my first shot on Wednesday. What do you think about folks us getting together in person in May?
It doesn't matter. I'll have my second shot the 23rd of this month.
Okay.
So, I
You know,
mean,
we Painesville Township Hall. I had an in-person pre-con there this morning, and it's pretty spread out that we could probably spread out pretty good in the room, the commission members and anybody else who wants to come in as far as public is concerned. We have to limit the number of people in the public, how many people can come in at one time, but you know, the commission members want to try in April, or do you want to wait till May? What's your feeling?
I'm okay with either.
A lot of things that occur in a month's time with this, you know, some people are expecting a surge again and other people are saying it's dying down. I've had the question come up with another organization I work with, and we were talking about possibility of April, but that would depend a lot on how many people feel comfortable and have had the second shot or feel comfortable with the second shot. I've had both shots, so I'll go along with whatever you ask about right now. I think we could space out enough if we didn't have a controversial issue where the public wanted to come in. I don't say that we'd have too much problem. And if you wanted to wait the extra month till May, I don't see a problem with it.
All right, I'll tell you what.
This is Amy.
I'm
This
sorry.
is Amy. I'm fine with April or May. Either way.
I have no problem with either one either.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, this is Bailey.
Richard,
I'm fine either way too.
you don't have any problem. Well, you know what? I can do April. I mean, I think like I said, I had my first shot Wednesday. I should have my second shot by the end of the month. You know what I mean? By at least by then. So, do you want to shoot for April, folks, or do you feel more comfortable waiting till May?
I think as long as you let us know where to show up and when to show up.
Yeah.
You can watch what the governor is saying and see if we reach that point where he's going to suggest some. I don't think they're going to drop masking or for right away anyway. But some of the other things may change. I think everybody get a vaccine. I think they're going to feel a lot more comfortable about going out, but that doesn't keep you from spreading it for somebody else. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rachel, when do you send out? You send out the packets. About 10 days before the meeting?
Yes, I think so.
So you'll be sending out the packet for this meeting probably last week in March, correct? Roughly.
When is
Our meeting is April 12th. It says right here, unless that's wrong.
second? Yeah, the 12th. So I should be sending them out. Yeah, I think the last week of March is when I'll go in the office to send them out.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, folks. If things look reasonable by then, and Rachel, you can email. I think maybe, folks, what we'll do is we'll shoot for April 12th, unless something goes haywire as far as the pandemic is concerned or the governor's order is concerned. And then we'll confirm everything as far as when you get your packet for the April 12th meeting. If it says it.
Mr. Chair,
In-person meeting, excuse me. Yeah, it's all live all the time. In-person meeting on shooting for April 12th meeting, which is next one. So we'll try for that. Unless something changes, it'll be in your packet in March. Does that sound reasonable, folks?
Mr. Chair, can I ask two questions?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Number one, because the meeting will be open to the public for personal appearance, will members of the commission or staff be exempted from attending in person if they choose to attend remotely? And the
If
second
this,
the second
all
question
right,
would be, um, will there be a limit placed upon members of the public or the number of people present in Township Hall at all? Will there be any limit?
okay, let's take it one step at a time. Let's go with the first number one, remotely. I think if staff members don't feel comfortable coming to an in-person meeting in April and would feel more comfortable maybe waiting till May. I mean, to me, I think in person, I think that would be maybe more wise to wait till May. And that maybe have that staff person feel more comfortable coming in May. As far as the public is concerned, I think that's going to be dictated by the governor as far as how many people can be in a room. If it's, think about it for a minute, we may have to restrict how many people come in at a time in the room, actual room. And then they have to wait outside until we bring them in. If it was an issue, we may have to go until the governor lifts it limits the number of people can be in one room at one time. Richard, you thinking about? What does the other members think?
Well, I have a couple concerns. Number one, I got my second COVID vaccination last Friday, so I've had my two. My other half has not had her first shot yet. She's scheduled for that next week. So I don't want to put myself in more of a position to possibly pick up COVID germs and bring them back into our household until she's had two vaccinations. So that's my personal thing, for family protection.
I understand.
However, since we have changed the game and Harley is alone at town hall hosting these meetings, and is there by herself, is unescorted without other people around when she goes to leave the premises. I am anxious to at least open things up for commission members who would rather be in attendance personally, especially so that when there are papers to sign, they could be signed immediately and we could, kind of proceed with business without extra trips into town hall. So there are a couple of moving pieces to this whole question. I'm concerned about Harley's safety, being there alone in the evening, just
Mm-hmm.
operating the computer and everything. Um, I, you know, uh, I've had two COVID vaccinations, but as I said, I'm concerned about potentially picking up a virus and bringing it home on me. Even if I'm not going to get it because I've been vaccinated. So it's going to take a little bit of time and transition. And then I'm concerned about if we get an issue in front of the zoning commission that the public is truly going to want to be involved in, we may
Mm-hmm.
have more people than we can accommodate show up unless we put a program in place to monitor who plans to attend ahead of time. So, I think it's a little bit more complicated than just saying we're going to open the meetings back up. We have to be able to identify how are we going to monitor and control situations regarding the number of people in attendance, even though we want to get to that point. how are we gonna? What kind of a program are we gonna use to do that?
Well, let me ask the question then. Trustee,
Excuse me,
this is Ted. Has the trustees tackled that question as far as their meetings are concerned?
Let me put it to you this way. I heard the trustees say that they were going to open the trustee meetings back up, but I have not seen what the plan is for monitoring the people.
Rich, I could say that being a member of a group that's political action, basically, but it's with Ohio Public Employee Retirees, their board is meeting now in a boardroom, and they're spaced out. So you have two questions here. You have to come up with, are you able to have something that was picking up the speaking parts of those different members? And the second thing is they advertise in advance that if you have anything to say or want to address a sentence to the board, that you have to do it online. So they're not allowing guests in yet, but the board is meeting in person. But here, I'm not sure that we have the facilities or the technology right now to even have the board meeting. And I think the way you are talking is some people will have the option to say, I prefer to stay at home. Now they could join in just like we are right now. But if the rest of them are going to be there, then you have to be able to hear each of them as they speak too. So that means you have to have some kind of a hookup for microphones and that sort of thing.
Right. I do not believe that the trustees intend to abandon the electronic configuration for their meetings just yet, but they plan on opening town hall to the public. Now, it's up to the zoning commission and to the Board of Zoning Appeals how they want to handle their own meetings. Just because the trustees are opening it up to the public doesn't mean that you have to. If you want to, since you're going to do a possible live in person for zoning commission members and still hold the meetings electronically in case any commission members want to hold back from public interface for the time being, and for members of the public who will not be invited to participate live in person, but will be invited to participate electronically. Yeah, we're still going to go on with the dual meetings. I believe. I'm not trying to tell you that's what decision you should make, but that's what I would suggest, is to possibly, if the commission feels better for the majority to meet in person at town hall and still do the electronic for any outsiders, plus any insiders who want to attend electronically, I think that would be an ideal way to go. And we could probably set that in motion for the April meeting, or if you want to wait till May, we could do it for May,
Sounds like a lot of things have to happen.
What, Daryl?
I said, it sounds like there's a lot of things that have to happen. And I'm wondering if there's sufficient time between now and the April meeting, based on the things you just mentioned, if May wouldn't be a better time. I'm just thinking out loud at this point.
Well, if the commission decides to keep the in-person meetings closed to the public, and make it only available electronically, I don't think that's a major deal. I think we could easily accomplish that. I'm going to ask Harley her opinion, because Harley has been trained on the electronic system, and she knows the ins and outs, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
Harley, what do you think?
About hosting hybrid meetings?
Yeah,
Is that the question?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the trustees had been doing this entire time. It wouldn't be difficult to do. It would be what I'm doing now, except with more people behind microphones. Yeah, there shouldn't be an issue at all.
okay. Would
Okay.
the hybrid meeting without members of the general public in attendance be kind of like easier on you than presently?
It would be the same. The only issue that I have, if you could call it that, is that it really freaks me out to walk into the
I don't blame you.
so to walk into the I'm not afraid of the dark, but I don't, it
It's your
freaks me out,
safety.
and that's it. But I can walk to my car. It's not an issue, and down the hallway. I power walk real fast. Just go real fast down the
Well,
hallway and
well,
out the door.
you know, I tell you what, Harley, if we did go to, when I went by that, what we would do then is we would come in like, let's take for argument that we go April. The commission members who feel comfortable about going to in person would go. So we'd be there, you know, like we'd be there like normal, like between 10 after quarter after 6:20, walking in. People who commission members or staff members who feel more comfortable about doing it remotely, like we are doing now, they can do that in April. Public wise, I think we would keep them away from us for right now, remotely, for now. But if you don't have a problem in doing that, and the commission members don't have a problem in doing what you would call a hybrid situation, I wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind trying out our first in person meeting for a year in the April meeting, and if the ones who are staff or commission members do not want to attend in person, but rather remotely, we can have that. But definitely, the public would definitely be remotely. I think until the governor lifts the number of people in a building, at a meeting room at one time. I think we got to keep the public out. In my opinion, keep the public out and keep them remotely for now. That's my opinion to the commission. I say we try it for April, and then those who think they want to stay home and do it remotely is quite all right too. Anybody has any different thoughts? Okay, so what we'll do is, folks, is we will, Harley, it looks like, what sounds like from everybody's silence is that we're going to shoot for being with you, at least some of us, on April 12th. Okay,
Sounds
we'll have
good.
a hybrid meeting. And then what we'll do is, if it's something changes, folks, and Rachel, what we'll do is, if there's something changes that we're definitely going to be remote, 100% of us remotely, we will indicate that when we have we send out the packets. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I email the digital copies to you, you guys, would that be a good way to let me know if you're going to be in person or remote?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. Let's do it that way. That way we'll know what we're dealing with. Okay. But the public will definitely, will still be remotely. Absolutely.
And just make sure either Rachel or Chairman, whoever wants to, just let me know what those numbers are of who's attending in person. That way, when I'm setting up the room, I know how to stage the seats and the microphones.
Gotcha. No problem
Okay.
at all. We'll know that, and the commission members would give Rachel, as soon as you get the email, give back to her within, say, 24 24 hours. That way she'll know right away, and then we can communicate that to Harley in one form or another. Okay? So if nobody objects, that's what we're going to try to do for the April 12th meeting, and we'll go from there. Any other comments from the commission members?
Nope.
Hearing none. Any other further business to come before the commission members? Hearing none. I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:26. And next meeting is Monday, April 12th, 2021. And folks, whoever wants to come, I look forward to seeing you all in a month.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Let's see where we're going here.